Hello again! Today you will learn what is environmental monitoring. In general term, it is a process of checking any germs or microorganism presence in your cleanroom area. We can say environmental monitoring is the very important aspect of the drug manufacturing process. Environmental monitoring confirms that a certain drug manufactured at a facility complied with environmental monitoring standards directed by FDA. We will understand in this training how to perform environmental monitoring and understand why all those monitorings are important, your responsibilities as a manufacturing technician to perform the monitoring accurately. The very first aspect of monitoring the environment is to watch the air quality in the cleanroom atmosphere. In Grade A and B operations, air is monitored for viable and non-viable particles. In terminology class, we have already learned what viable and non-viable particles are. While the most strict and stringent operations in Grade A and B are in progress, we need to monitor any viable or non-viable particles in the air. There are certain mechanisms and machines that are used to keep air quality in check. Let's understand them in detail. We have learned about HVAC system in terminology training. This is just like a central air conditioning system in your house, where air is supplied through ducts that go behind the walls and ceilings. HVAC system in cleanrooms have HEPA filter installed with the filter strength of 0.3 microns. The same air is circulated and filtered to stop any viable and non-viable particles from entering the cleanroom air, and it is done by installing HEPA filters in the rooms. HEPA is a type of air filter, which is known as high-efficiency particulate air filter. This type of air filter can remove at least 99.97% of dust, bacteria, and any air particles. But for extra precautions, while critical A and B operations are going, there are two different types of monitoring that are done. Let's discuss viable particles or understanding of viable air monitoring. Viable air monitoring simply means checking microorganisms present in the air of the cleanroom. Let's discuss the science behind air monitoring and different types of viable air monitoring. Moreover, we will go over the instruments that are used in this industry to monitor the air. Whenever we say viable air monitoring, it is a critical parameter during the manufacturing activities for patient and drug safety. In order to prevent any microorganism, moreover, continuously monitor the air to ensure that no outside microorganisms via air are introduced inside the cleanroom, while manufacturing technicians and necessary supplies go in and out of the doors while operations are ongoing. Air monitoring is critical parameter for safety of drug. Let's say if you are manufacturing a drug in a cleanroom and criticality requires air monitoring, therefore we need to check presence of microorganisms in cleanroom. These microorganisms present in air can be checked with two methods. One method is settle plate monitoring. In the settle plate monitoring method, we use Petri plates, as you can see on your screen. These Petri plates contain culture media. Media is food of microorganisms. It helps microorganisms for their growth, just like food is important for our growth. These Petri plates are put in the cleanroom's environment at specific spots. These spots are decided by Quality Control Department under the FDA guidelines provided. One important point is that these plates are at an angle, as you can see on your screen. Reason behind this plate angle phenomenon is that particles in air can easily collide with media in Petri plate at this angle. Once these bacteria stick on media surface, they will start growing as they are sitting on their food. The rule of thumb here is that these settle plates will be changed every 4 hours by the QC personnel. All the air monitoring operation is done by the QC department. You are being taught this process for your understanding, and there are a couple of job responsibilities related to environmental monitoring that you would be executing. So let's continue to understand. If the operations are going for, let's say, 12 hours, every 4 hours the quality control person will come to the manufacturing floor and change these settle plates. The reason for changing these plates every 4.5 hours is that science industry has determined the time 4 hours is best, according to mathematical calculations of the rate of settling of microorganisms for the exposed hours. After 4 hours, the rate start to decrease of organism falling on plate. Thus, this is the best time to replace. Therefore, these settle plates need to be changed every 4 hours. QC person takes the Petri plate after 4 hours, and this Petri dish will be kept in an incubation chamber for next few days. This incubation chamber would provide moisture and the right temperature for bacterial growth. Therefore, if there was any microorganism caught in the cleanroom would grow and show up on this Petri plate like you can see on the screen. And this growth would confirm that there was some microorganism present in the air. Very rarely, these things would surface up. But with proper gowning and procedures in place, it doesn't happen too often. Lab report from QC for these Petri plates would come back as pass with no confirmation found or fail with some contamination. The second method for air monitoring is air sampler. Now you remember we already have the HVAC system in place with HEPA filter that is blocking 99.97% of particles from entering in. Then we knew that there are living organisms that viable and can still enter the cleanroom with personnel and material going in and out during the operation. To keep this check, we have two methods. One method was to settle plates that we explained. Now the other one is air sampler. Now let's understand the air sampler on your screen that the quality control personnel is preparing. An air sampler is an instrument that you can see on your screen. Quality control personnel put Petri plates in air sampler instrument and pass 1,000-liter environmental air through this instrument. Then the quality control department will take this Petri plate, just like settle plate, would keep the plates in an incubator which provides specific temperature and humidity in incubation that helps bacteria grow and can be seen. After incubation testing, they will provide you with the results. If you find pass result, then you will attach it in BPR at appropriate BPR step. In case of fail result, you will inform your supervisor. Your core responsibility is to check plates are available at their specific place before the operation begins. If not, inform quality control personnel. Your BPR would have instructions on which activities the air must be monitored, and the quality control department also has the manufacturing schedule information. And they will be there at the right time. This is all for environment monitoring, your job responsibility in terms of EM job duties. That you must make sure that number 1. Settle plates are stationed at the right spot before the operation. Number 2, they are changed every 4 hours, and the QC person is responsible for executing this. Number 3, you just collect the result of these plates, attach it to the BPR in case of pass. And last but not least, in case of failed test, inform your supervisor and manager. Non-viable simply means non-living things. Non-viable particle count means checking of different non-living particles in cleanroom environment. These are non-living beings. Example can be a dust particle, any type of fiber in the air. These particles can enter from the air supply if integrity of HEPA filter within HVAC is accidentally compromised during the operation as well or otherwise. We need to have procedures check in place what if. So the non-viable particle counter counts the dust, fiber, and many other types of non-living beings in the air. We understand that the type of drug we are manufacturing might go straight to someone's blood or used at the time of a surgical procedure. Imagine a fiber being passed into the injection and transferred inside someone's body. A big no-no. You as a manufacturing technician need to understand what this instrument is doing. This operation is also performed by the quality control department personnel. You need to ensure that when the quality control person is checking non-viable particles in the air, if there is a trigger or an alarm, manufacturing operation must be halted right away. These alarms can ring as soon as it finds particles in the air. GMP rules requires the operation to pause and wait for the supervisor direction to resume operation. Now let's understand how this instrument works. You can see the left side of your screen is a type of particle counter and a funnel directly attached to the suction port from the top of it. From this funnel air can pass and the particle count reading is then relayed and displayed on the screen. On the other hand, you see two QC technicians holding a hose and trying to take a particle reading from close to the ceiling where the air supply is coming from. This is another type of particle counter that the technical on the right is holding. The hose attached to it is long enough to reach a high ceiling point. Therefore, you may see many designs and models of particle counters, small to big. The one you might work with in your company might be slightly different depending on the company. To emphasize again, this is not your responsibility to execute, but you need to understand this to effectively execute your job duties related to environmental monitoring. The main function of this instrument is to suck and pass 1 cubic meter or 1,000 liter of air through the suction port on top and give you a reading. If it finds a particle counter will give you a notification once process is completed, and a reading will display on instrument screen. Now we understand the two different types of viable monitoring. One particle counter for non-viable, and an HVAC system to begin with HEPA filter. We have protected the environment as much as we can. Now there will be some tests that will confirm there are no contaminations with the drug produced. And this is all your job. Let's recap your job duties related to as far as environmental monitoring is concerned. Number 1 is ensure that if the BPR suggests that environmental monitoring is needed, make sure the QC person has placed the settle plates, particle counter, and air samplers at their fixed spots before the manufacturing operation can begin. Number 2, ensure that settle plates are changed every 4 hours if manufacturing is going for longer hours. Number 3, once these Petri plates results after the incubation times are conveyed to you as either pass or fail, you need to attach the results at the appropriate step in BPR. If the result is fail and microorganisms are found in the lab results, inform your supervisor right away. Moreover, attach all environmental reports to the BPR and appropriate log. This is your job related to environmental monitoring explained. Thank you for being with us today. See you at the next training.